our first episode in the Kingdom Living series. Everything we discussed in this series would be placed into four subcategories: purpose, wisdom, favor, and faith. Let's start with purpose. We're going to focus mainly on the Book of Esther in our first episode because the Lord has me in this book for a little while now and I want to share some nuggets with you. Let's look at Esther chapter 2, verse 2 to 4. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, Let there be fair young virgins sought for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins into Shushan, the palace, to the house of the women, unto the custody of Haggai, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given them, and let the maiden which pleaseth the king be given instead of Vashti. We just read why Esther and the other young maidens were taken to the palace. It certainly wasn't the best approach at all. However, things can still work together for our good, as it says in Romans 8:28, especially when purpose is quietly at work behind the scenes. Let's look at some things. Esther's ancestors were exiled from Jerusalem by Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. She lost her parents. She didn't walk along merrily or voluntarily into the palace. As a matter of fact, they didn't even have much say in the matter at all. The thing is, life's circumstances aren't always full of happiness, rainbows, sunshine, and laughter. We can see this in Ecclesiastes 3, where it speaks about a time and season for everything under the sun. However, I've come to realize that wherever there is purpose, there will be periods of strengthening and refreshing when and where needed. You won't have to walk it out alone, even when it feels that way. Let me show you a few examples. We can see that Mordecai still helped Esther to adjust to her new role. We see this in verse 11 of chapter 2, where it says, Every day Mordecai would take a walk near the courtyard of the harem. For those of you who aren't familiar with what a harem is, it was a separate room, or in some cases a separate building for the king's women. So he took a walk near the courtyard of the harem to find out about Esther and what was happening to her. This same divinely orchestrated help and counsel is shown in 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 3 to 9. And it reads, Elijah was afraid and ran for his life. That's when he was running from Jezebel. Elijah was afraid and ran for his life. When he came to Beersheba in Judah, he left his servant there, while he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness. He came to a broom bush, sat down under it, and prayed that he might die. I have had enough, Lord, he said. Take my life. I am no better than my ancestors. Then he laid down under the bush and fell asleep. All at once, an angel touched him and said, Get up and eat. He looked around, and there by his head was some bread baked over hot coals and a jar of water. He ate and drank and then lay down again. The angel of the Lord came back a second time and touched him and said, Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you. So he got up and ate and drank, strengthened by the food. Okay, I'm not going to go on, but he got up and he ate and drank. So we see here he's being encouraged, he's being provided for, he's being ministered to. Let's go on to another example. Let's look at where it even happened for Jesus. We can find that in Luke 22, chapter 22, verse 42 to 43, where Jesus said, Father, if you were willing, Take this cup from me. Some versions say, let this cup pass from me. Take this cup from me. Yet, not my will, but yours be done. An angel from heaven appeared to him and strengthened him. And again in Matthew chapter 4, verse 11, right after the devil was finished tempting Jesus, it says, then the devil left him, and angels came and attended him. These are just a few examples of how purpose is usually accompanied by divine help, guidance, and provision. This is